Hi, I'm Irving. Welcome to Kato and oh, there I go again. A fake Green Hornet is terrorizing the city and seems to have issues with Britt Reid and the Daily Sentinel. He just fired a shot ostensibly at Reid, but killed Simon Neal, owner of a rival paper. The real Green Hornet has to find out who hired this fake, why, and bring them down.
Dan Scully is here.
Oh, show him in.
Come on in, Dan.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Dan. Have a seat.
I'm sure that's what he meant, Dan. A little full of ourselves,
You said the other day you weren't happy at the Express.
That's right, not with a managing editor like Sabrina.
How would you like to come back to work for the Sentinel?
You mean that?
As of right now, you're on the payroll.
His first assignment is to dig into Simon Neal's murder and try to find out who was behind it, and thus who hired the Green Hornet. Their two primary suspects are Sabrina Bradley and Melissa Neal. Dan will check out Sabrina while Britt talks to Melissa. Sabrina talked like Simon was going to marry her, but there were rumors that he was going to dump her and leave her with nothing. Good motive for murder.
I know what people thought of him, but he wasn't as foolish as he seemed. He knew he was just the top rung on the ladder as far as Sabrina was concerned. Now that the Daily Express is mine, I'm going to pull that ladder right out from under her.
And if he was going to marry Sabrina, there's a good chance that leaves little niece Melissa out in the cold. Also a good motive for murder. Meanwhile, Felix Garth, the Express's society guy, is putting in a call to Mr. Reid.
Now, what would the society columnist of the Daily Express want with me?
Well, I don't know, but he said it was important, and he asked if you could come to his apartment at 11 tonight.
Okay, thanks, Miss Case.
Dan!
If you haven't already figured out that Dan is the fake Green Hornet, we have work to do. The only question is who he's working for.
Did you want something?
No, I just came by to see Mr. Reid. I'll come back later.
I'm just going out of my way to be creepy and suspicious, so there's no question I'm the bad guy. The Green Hornet has a busy night ahead. It starts with a visit to Sabrina.
The Green Hornet.
But are you sure which one, Miss Bradley?
What do you mean?
Am I the real Green Hornet? Or the imposter you created to attack the Daily Sentinel, then kill Simon Neal?
I don't know what you mean.
I've heard differently. I don't like to be accused of crimes I haven't committed. So I'm warning you. You and your partner better stop playing games.
A handful of security guards tries to capture them with predictable results. Sabrina doesn't appear to be the culprit because her surprise seems genuine. They go home, Britt changes clothes, and goes to meet Felix. I don't think anybody has to speculate what Britt is going to find at Felix Garth's place. Well, maybe he didn't expect that. Garth is dead, of course. Britt calls Miss Case at home and says, "Did you tell anybody I was coming to Felix Garth's tonight? Anyone at all?"
Wait a minute. After I put the phone down and turned around, he was standing in the doorway.
Who?
Dan Scully.
Scully?
Yes, he's the fake Green Hornet. We figured that out half an hour ago. Next day, Britt is having lunch at the Pony Club with Sabrina. After he spends a little time ogling the girls, he gets down to business.
Felix Garth.
What about him?
Just before I found his body, I saw you leaving his apartment building. What were you doing there?
All right, I'll tell you. I went to ask him if he knew anything about the car Simon was having made for the Press Club's masquerade ball this year.
Of all things, he decided to go to this masquerade as the Green Hornet. And since he was an idle rich guy, he went way overboard.
He even had a limousine customized to look like the Green Hornet's car.
Complete with the rocket launchers and all the rest? He really was crazy. What did he figure to do with it after the masquerade ball? Sell it to the real Green Hornet as backup? Sabrina thought Garth might have been snooping around and knew something more about the car, but when he didn't answer his door, she left. She had no idea he was in there dead.
Who else could have known that Simon was having a car customized?
Only one other person. Melissa.
He has a phone brought to the table and calls Melissa, asking to come see her.
After what you told me, I think I know who killed Simon and why.
Britt, be careful.
Well, thank you, Sabrina. I didn't know you cared.
But I do. And I'd like to help.
Later, he knocks on her door. He drives around that circle until he's out of sight, then he jumps out of the car and Miss Case jumps in and takes off. Kato appears with the Black Beauty, Britt jumps in and changes, and the chase is on.
He's taking the bait.
So, time to get after him and bring him down.
He's trying to force her off the road.
Yeah, so get up there and disable his car quick before he succeeds and she gets hurt.
After him.
That has to be enshrined somewhere as one of the biggest duh lines ever. Get your butt up there and stop him. Whatever he's paying her is not enough. It appears that Dan spotted the real Green Hornet, so he's abandoned the mission and is trying to escape. If they'd gone a little faster to begin with and caught up with him sooner, they could have done that on the straightaway and maybe had a chance of hitting something besides dirt. The two cars reach a turnout or something, it's hard to tell, and they square off. That is easily one of the most confusing sequences I have ever watched. Check it out again, lightened up a little. No help. Basically, Dan's out of rockets, so he decides to ram the Black Beauty. Kato moves out of the way just in time. Dan can't keep from going over that embankment, and the car explodes as he does. I forget how many times I had to watch it to get that. I can't decide if the problem is bad direction, bad editing, or both. I do know this pair of episodes were the only ones this particular director did, so maybe somebody else spotted the problems too.
She knows about us, Dan. We have to get rid of her, too. We'll take her out to where you forced Britt. You're not Dan.
No, I'm Britt, the Green Hornet. Oops.
No.
Where is he?
He's dead.
What are you doing here? Where's Britt Reid?
Reid?
He's the only reason I'm here. He asked me to keep Melissa incommunicado while he led Dan Scully into a police trap.
He must have been the one driving the convertible.
Yes.
I'm afraid I took the matter of disposing of Dan Scully out of his hands.
If she's a good news hound, she might notice that his voice is exactly like Britt Reid's. They hear sirens coming, so he hands her back the gun and takes his leave. Sabrina knows exactly what to do next.
Hello, Sam. Sabrina Bradley. I have a story for you. No, forget rewrite. You take it. All right? Are you ready? Here goes. Sam, forget the whole thing. Nobody in the world would believe it.
Or not. In the epilogue, Britt is back at the Pony Club, this time with Mike Axford and Miss Case. Mike is telling the story. Uncle Simon really was going to marry Sabrina, which would leave Melissa essentially with nothing. Once she saw the car he was having made, she and Dan worked out a deal. The rest we know.
You know, when you come right down to it, the food in this place is pretty lousy.
I can tell.
And the prices they charge, it's out-and-out robbery.
Well, as long as the boss is picking up the check.
That's not the point. It's the principle of the thing. And you come here 2 or 3 times a week?
Sometimes 4 or 5.
I'm still waiting for that tail to slap him in the face.
I don't get it. Why? What's the big attraction? What do you see in this place?
The Daily Sentinel's top reporter, folks. Even though the big reveal wasn't so big, this was a good story. We had good action, an intricate plot, and some pretty good misdirection to try and throw us off. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but that's the nature of the beast. I'd like to know if the Green Hornet actually intended to kill Dan Scully or if he had hoped to capture him, because with this guy you never know. Unlike Batman, he's fine with killing someone if the situation requires it, and we're not afraid to make that explicit on the screen. So I think it would be a legitimate question for the viewer to ask and hope for some kind of answer. But we don't get one, so I'm going to go with this. He expected the car to miss that turn and go over the edge, but he expected it to crash at the bottom so they could go collect Dan Scully. But Joe Kellogg put one of the rocket tubes in backwards and it fired just as the car went over the edge. Thus the car burst into flames and Dan was killed. That's my story. Just go with it. Until next time.